Light is a young boy who dreams of becoming the greatest adventurer in history by a mistake. He ate a devil fruit that he grants him an incredibly powerful skill. Our episode begins with Light, the handsome young man, alongside his friend Lena, discussing extraordinary skills and abilities. Light has a preference for dual swords or swift movement and seeks combat-oriented skills because his dream has always been to become a famous adventurer. So this has been his goal since he was a child. And today, finally, he gets the chance to achieve his dream and acquire new skills. So as for Lina, her ambition is to gain skills similar to Light's. They talk about a fruit-bearing tree that grants skills upon consumption. Eventually, they arrive at a grand building. Inside, they consume the fruits. Light narrates that all of this began 3 months ago. On the day he ate the fruit of skills, the Saintess explained that these fruits grant abilities and allow individuals to pursue careers suited to those skills. However, there is one strict rule: the fruits can only be eaten once in a lifetime. Eating a second one leads to instant death. Many foolish adventurers tried consuming a second fruit, hoping for better skills, but all perished from poisoning. Lena asks Light if he was aware of this, and he confirms, saying sacrifices are necessary. She shares stories of adventurers who gained legendary skills, such as the King of Fists and the Mystic Eye. Inspired, Lena eats her fruit and gains an impressive skill, the Sword Saint's skill. The Saintess is thrilled, as she has long awaited such an adventurer. When Light eats his fruit, he gains the ability of Fruit Master, which he initially thinks makes him destined to be a farmer. Furious and disappointed, he exclaims that he wanted to be an adventurer, not a farmer. The Saintess tries to comfort him, explaining that his skill allows him to harvest large quantities of crops and reduce farming time. Lena reassures him, saying she will help him grow fruits and won't leave his side. Together, they'll build a big farm. The Saintess, however, scolds Lena, declaring that the Sword Saint skill appears only once every 10 years, and Lena must become an adventurer to serve the country. She takes Lena to the city for immediate recruitment. Lina bids farewell to Light, promising to meet him again someday. Back in the present, 3 months have passed. Light has become a famous farmer, harvesting and selling produce for significant profits. One day, after selling his crops, he sees Lena's image displayed on the city walls. She has risen to an S-rank adventurer in record time. Enraged, Lights to achieve the impossible without combat skills. He begins rigorous sword training. At that moment, a new character, Ella, approaches and greets him warmly. And so, the girl named Ayla became part of Light's life. For reasons unknown, the village chief had recently entrusted her to Light, insisting that he take her in. Now they lived together, sharing work and responsibilities between them. One evening, they sat down for dinner. Ayla asked Light about his day and the harvest. He replied that everything was going well, especially with the skill fruits, which he had started focusing on cultivating. Light mentioned his plan to save some money to buy a better sword, and explained that he had carefully sorted the skill fruits into separate boxes. He then warned Ayla never to eat any of these fruits without his permission, no matter the circumstances. Ayla paused for a moment before confessing that she had used some of the fruits to prepare the soup they were eating. Light was shocked. Memories of the Saintess's warning flashed in his mind that eating a second skill fruit would cause instant death. Suddenly, a familiar sensation coursed through his body, an intense heat radiating from within, just like the day he first ate a fruit. He feared for his life but realized it was his fault for not explaining the fruit's danger to Ayla. Collapsing to the ground, Ayla panicked and rushed to his side. To their astonishment, Light stood up moments later, seemingly unscathed. Light was bewildered by what had happened. Not only did he survive, but he also realized he had acquired a new skill, Sword Sovereign. Still, he didn't fully understand its implications. Meanwhile, the Saintess, upon learning of the event, was equally baffled by the turn of events. Back at home, Ayla suddenly fell ill, experiencing a severe headache and fever. Moments later, she discovered she had gained the appraisal skill. Using it, she informed Light that his Fruit Master skill made him immune to all fruit-related toxins. So Light was stunned and asked how she knew this. Ayla explained that when she looked at him, words describing his abilities appeared in her vision. She also revealed that he now possessed the Sword Sovereign skill, which drastically increased his attack power when wielding a sword. Light decided to test these newfound abilities. He took a sword and ventured into the forest. Striking a tree with all his might, he effortlessly cut it down, confirming the power of his new skill. Overjoyed, Light realized he might be the only person with 2 skills. The next day, Light and Ayla headed to the city to visit the Adventurers Guild and take on some quests. Upon entering the guild, they were awestruck by its grandeur and the sight of adventurers bustling about, so it had always been a dream for them to come here. For Light, however, it wasn't just about earning money. He wanted to test his new skills in real battles and see if he could truly join the ranks of adventurers. Deep down, he also yearned to stand beside Lena once more. Light asked Ayla to sit and wait for him while he secured a quest. Sitting alone, Ayla observed the guild's many powerful individuals, noting that everyone seemed to possess only 1 skill. This made her realize just how unique Light was with his 2 skills. Wanting to be helpful, she began gathering information using her appraisal skill. She learned about various abilities including combat arts, enemy detection, fire manipulation, and even charm skills. Ayla resolved to use her findings to support Light in his journey. Jean argues with Light when Light accidentally bumps into him. Jean shouts, "A true adventurer should be able to avoid such things. You're the guy who sells fruits at the market, the fruit master. What are you even doing here in the guild? This is no place for you." Jean attacks Light, but Light easily blocks his strike. Jean's friends are shocked that Light managed to stop the attack. Light thinks to himself, "It seems wielding the sword enhances my reaction speed." Jean speaks to Light, "I went easy on you." His friends then say, "Don't waste your time on him. Let's leave and claim our first glorious victory." They leave and Light turns to Ayla, "Let's go. So I've got a mission too." In the forest, Light and Ayla arrive in the forest, and Light says excitedly, "This is our destination. We'll finally see some monsters." He warns Ayla, "This place is dangerous, stay behind me." They begin searching for monsters and encounter their first one, a slime. Ayla informs him that slimes have higher defense than most other monsters. Light talks to his sword. The first to strike wins. "Don't let me down, sword skill." He charges at the slime and successfully defeats it, exclaiming, "I feel like my sword is incredibly light. The boost to my leg strength was amazing." He tells Ayla, "If we return with parts of the slime, we can trade them for money at the guild." Ayla responds, "I feel bad cutting it up and taking its parts." Encountering the ghoul while cutting the slime, they hear screams. They find Jean and his friends fighting a ghoul, but they are terrified. Jean yells, "What is this ghoul doing here? We met a strange man at the guild." The ghoul charges at them, and they try to flee. Light and Ayla witness the scene. Ayla remarks, "These monsters aren't supposed to appear here." Jean and his friends run away, leaving the ghoul in front of Light. Ayla says, "It's focused on you now. We have no choice but to fight." Light prepares himself. "Defeating this monster will be the perfect start to my career as an adventurer." For the ghoul attacks, but Light dodges its blows. Ayla warns him, "Be careful. Sword skill doesn't enhance your physical defense, for if you fail to dodge, you could die instantly." Light thinks to himself, "I must become the greatest adventurer ever. I'll leave my mark on history. I know the strength in my legs now." He charges at the ghoul, striking it and cutting it in half. Light celebrates, "I did it." The fruit master and sword skills are both incredible. At the guild, the receptionist says, "You didn't just defeat a slime, but also a ghoul." Light responds, "Yes, here's the ghoul's horn as proof." Jean's friend chimes in, "Yes, we were watching. We can confirm it, this man saved our lives." Everyone rejoices as the ranks team arrives. Jean says, "Lena is the star of the rank S Holy Sword team." Light speaks with Lena, but she replies, "I think you've mistaken me for someone else." Light feels disheartened that Lena doesn't remember him. End of the episode. The narrator concludes. Stay tuned for the next episodes. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell to stay updated.
Our episode begins today with the return of the S-rank team from their mission abroad. Everyone is astonished by their physical transformations and newfound strength. At that moment, Light tries to call out to Lena, his former friend, but is met with a shocking surprise. Lena looks at him and says, "I think you have me confused with someone else," indicating that she doesn't recognize him at all. This revelation leaves Light deeply shocked. Later, the scene shifts to Light being taken home by Ayla for a meal, but his sadness is evident as he prepares to eat. He is startled by Lena's sudden arrival. This means she had pretended not to recognize him earlier for some reason. Just as he is about to say her name, she places her hand over his mouth and says, "Be quiet." She then asks him why he was at the guild. He explains that he and Ayla have become adventurers, a long story he promises to tell her later. He also reveals his second skill, the cutting sword, and assures her that he will catch up to her soon. Light then asks her about the Holy Sword team, to which she replies, "Light, it's not as great as it seems. I'm forced to work with people the Saintess has chosen. I can't deny the pay is good, but the overall atmosphere is terrible. That's why I advise you to stay away from the Holy Sword team. It's also the reason I pretended not to know you." She goes on to share her story. 2 months ago, the team was battling some serpents. They used fire to defeat them, but the strong winds caused the flames to spread to nearby farmlands. While Lena was deeply upset, the others dismissed her concerns, saying, "So what? The important thing is that we completed the job. Those aren't our farms." Lena, however, was devastated, saying, "This isn't right. These farmers are poor people who rely on these lands to survive. You're burning crops that take over 4 months to grow." She went to the Saintess to report what happened, but she found that the Saintess shared the same mindset as the others, saying, "That doesn't concern us. What matters is that we defeated the Great Serpent, and that's what history will remember." Returning to the present, Light tells Lena, "If you're unhappy with your team, why don't you join us?" Lena begins to cry and leaves without a word, leaving Light unsure of her fate. Later that evening, at the Adventurers Guild, the Guild Girl rewards Isla and Light with 10,000 gold coins for defeating the Savage Ghoul. Light accepts the money but remains deeply affected by Lena's behavior and her apparent distress. He is extremely worried about her. Episode question: why doesn't Lena want to join Light, even though she clearly wants to be with him? Please pause the video and leave your comments below. The next scene shifts to the leader, Grouse, surrounded by women. He is boasting about his skills and strength, recounting his monster hunting exploits. A guild girl approaches him and mentions complaints from local residents about their use of fire, which has burned homes and crops. Grouse dismissively replies, "That didn't happen. Tell them to leave immediately. We defeated the monster they requested us to, and sometimes small sacrifices are necessary." At that moment, Light barges in without greeting Grouse and confronts him directly, saying, "Let Lena leave your team. I overheard this conversation, and I know she would never approve of this." Grouse mocks him, saying, "You must be one of Lena's obsessed admirers." Angered, Light retorts, "That's none of your business. Lena was crying, she must be suffering." Grouse calls his guards, who quickly restrain Light and throw him out. Some bystanders advise Light not to provoke Grouse, as angering him will not please the Saintess. The scene transitions to the Holy Sword team. The team was granted their skills by the Saints, so today they aim to earn more money. They were fortunate to possess such amazing abilities. Lena, however, didn't respond to them as her mind was occupied with Light and his words. He had told her that if she wasn't happy in her current group, why not join them? Lena decided to speak to Grouse, and indeed, she told him that she wanted to leave the Sacred Sword. In response, Surim said that they were the greatest group ever, but Lena was unmoved by his words. She felt she could no longer continue and wanted to become an adventurer, following her own beliefs. She left the group and headed toward the door to leave. Furious at her defiance, Grouse rushed toward her. Lena attempted to draw her sword, but Grouse told her that even with her amazing Saint Sword skills, she couldn't touch him. He struck her across the face and forced her to stay, saying she made people happy and that they would save the world together until their dying day. Later, the Sacred Sword team left the guild with people around them cheering for their strength. Suddenly, they found Light standing before them. Upon seeing him, Grouse asked what he was doing there. Light replied that he was there for his friend Lena. Grouse mocked his words and ordered him to leave since they were going to hunt monsters. Light ignored him and called out to Lena, asking her to join their beginner team. He reminded her of their promise when they were young to become adventurers together. This triggered Lena's memories of their childhood, but she replied that she was now a member of the Sacred Sword and didn't want to leave. Hearing this, Light challenged Grouse to a duel. If Light won, he could take Lena with him. If Grouse won, she would stay with them. Grouse added another condition. If Light lost, he would be banned from the Adventurers Guild forever and would never set foot in the Holy City again. Lena tried to stop Light, pleading with him not to agree as he had worked so hard to become an adventurer. At that moment, Ayla used her powers and discovered that Grouse possessed a speed skill that allowed him to close the gap between himself and his opponents instantly with supernatural speed. Light responded by claiming he had 2 skills, Fruit Master and Sword Ruler. Grouse didn't believe him, thinking it impossible to possess 2 skills. Grouse attacked Light, but Light managed to block all his strikes. Suddenly, Grouse appeared behind Light, trying to strike him. However, he kept vanishing and reappearing in front of him with incredible speed, making it impossible for Light to counter. Grouse declared that this land was his domain and that no sword could touch him as his power was of such rank. Light decided to charge at Grouse to kill him, but Grouse blocked the attack with such strength that Light's sword broke. Believing he had won, Grouse decided to spare Light's life on the condition that Lena vowed to obey him for the rest of her life. Light rose to his feet and declared that he would be the one to win. Lena expressed her confidence in him, saying she always believed in him and wanted him to emerge victorious. Light prepared to continue the fight, but realized his sword was broken. So he took a broom from a man nearby and readied himself to fight using it. Light takes the broom from the man, angering Grouse, who shouts, "You're mocking me." "I'm completely serious. Enough of this nonsense, you'll regret this even after your death." Light, in his mind, thinks, "Imagine the broom as a sword with a steel handle and a long, sharp blade. My swings are faster than his. I'm lagging behind because I'm watching his movements. I'll strike based on what I feel, not what I see." Light charges at Grouse with the broom, delivering a powerful blow to his face that knocks Grouse to the ground. Everyone is astonished by Light's strength, and Light feels triumphant. He then turns to the Sacred Sword members, saying, "If you mess with us, you'll meet the same fate." Speaking to Lena, he says, "You're free now. You can work as an adventurer on your own or join a team if you want. But I want you to join Ayla and me." Lena agrees and leaves with them. Later, we see Light and Ayla in a field. Light says, "It's been a week since my duel with Grouse." Lena calls out to them, and Light replies, "From today onward, I'll accompany you. Since our base of operations is in the Holy City, Lena allowed us to stay at her house. I wish I could say I'm living a comfortable, worry-free life as an adventurer." Lena speaks to a young boy, asking him, "Can I help you?" He replies, "The Saint is summoning you and wants to discuss your departure from the Sacred Sword." Lena responds, "It doesn't matter how many times you ask me, my answer won't change. I won't meet her." The boy tells her, "You won't receive the same treatment you did when you were in an S-rank team." Later, they go to the guild, where a staff member presents them with tasks, eliminating demonic rats in the tunnels, repairing roofs in the slums, and finding a lost cat. Lena replies, "Yes, we'll take them all." The townspeople are overjoyed to see Lena and meet her in a secluded area. She tells them, "You can rely on us. We'll split up and get to work." Light and Lena use their powers to accomplish various tasks. At night, Light says, "The three of us earned gold after today's efforts." Lena responds, "I wanted to use my skills to help those in need. I'm happy I left the Sacred Sword to help people. Even if we're doing small tasks like today, this isn't the kind of adventurer I wanted to become. Surely you want to do bigger things." Light tells her, "I enjoyed today and learned a lot thanks to you. We should hold a founding ceremony. It's a tradition adventurers follow to make a vow or wish for success in their journeys. I've also thought of a name for our team, Luxeria, meaning incomplete light. I'll become an adventurer who leaves a mark on history." Lena says, "I'll become an adventurer who fights for the people." Together, they declare, "As Luxeria, we swear by the stars to uphold this vow." The scene shifts to the boy speaking with the Saint. He says, "Are you really giving that mission to those three? Maybe Lena will survive, but the other two are doomed?" The Saint replies, "Yes, I've already arranged it with the trash. We'll pretend nothing bad will happen. Let's see if this so-called a priori, their leader, can truly change the future." And that's how today's episode of The Animines. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to stay updated with all the latest content. Our episode begins today with Light and Lena heading to the guild because they're looking for a new mission. But the guild girl tells them the mission is dangerous. She says, "We don't even know what kind of monsters you'll be dealing with." Light and Lena are shocked. "What do you mean you don't know what kind of monsters?" They ask. That's when the guild girl starts explaining the story. "It all started 2 months ago," she says. "A team of adventurers went to the northern Montes Valley to survey the monster density, but they disappeared completely. We couldn't find them. After that, we sent more adventurers to search for the first team, but they also vanished. We've had no news since then. So far, 18 adventurers from ranks A and B have gone missing." She hands them a list of their names, and when Lena looks at it, she's stunned. "These people are really strong. One of them taught me so much when I was a new adventurer," she says. The guild girl continues, "We don't have much information. All we know is that they might have headed to Count Monte's old estate. It's a mansion built 30 years ago by a man who made his fortune through adventuring. Unfortunately, there are no records of what skills he had. After his death, the mansion fell into disrepair. The mission's objectives are to find the missing adventurers and figure out what's causing the disappearances." Lena is frustrated. "How are we supposed to do this? Even rank B and A adventurers didn't survive. What chance do we have?" she says, but the guild girl tells them it's the only available mission. Lena thinks for a moment. "Something's not right. This mission might be way too dangerous for us," she says. But when she looks at Light, she sees how excited he is. "I've always wanted to visit that valley," he says eagerly. Ella chimes in, "All right, let's go there and grab some pizza. She's only thinking about food." The guild girl looks at her and asks, "Is this little girl really coming with you?" Light defends her, saying she's got an amazing evaluation skill. The guild girl is shocked. "Wait, did this kid eat a skill fruit?" she asks. Light explains it happened by accident. Without wasting more time, they set out. When they arrive, the area is completely shrouded in thick fog. They can't see where they're going. Lena checks the map. "We should be here," she says. Looking down, they finally spotted a massive abandoned capital. The place is creepy, and as they descend, they notice the huge castle the guild girl had mentioned. This was all built for just one man? Light says he must have made a fortune as an adventurer. He dreams aloud, one day I want to build a huge farm and a massive training ground. Ella gets excited and says, I want to live there with you. She jumps with joy but ends up slipping. Light grabs her and Lena grabs Light, but they all lose their balance and fall. As they're falling, Light's mind races. What am I supposed to do now? He wonders. Light uses his sword to break their fall, reducing the impact just enough for them to land safely. It seems like everything is fine until they're surrounded. Vampires emerge from every direction. Light immediately strikes one of them down, but when he looks more closely, he notices something strange. Some of the vampires look like adventurers. Could they have been bitten and turned into vampires? He wonders. Ella uses her evaluation skill and confirms they're dead. These people aren't alive anymore, they've turned into monsters. And worse, they can spread the infection by biting others. We have to be extremely careful. She continues, they still have their combat skill, speed, and ability to make money. These must be the missing guild adventurers. That's why they never came back. Light struggles with the decision. What should we do? Should we kill them? As he's hesitating, one of the vampires lunges at him, but Lena saves him at the last second. Don't hold back, she shouts. They're not coming back to life. Even if they do, they'll never return to their original selves. Let's head inside the castle. There might still be survivors. They push open the massive door and find even more vampires inside, adventurers who've been turned. The castle feels like a graveyard of fallen heroes. Lena charges forward, slicing through the vampires with incredible speed and precision. Ella cheers her on. Wow, Lena, you've really mastered the art of the blade. Lena smiles but shakes her head. My sword's strong, but I wouldn't say I've mastered it. Light, you've got some catching up to do. Not wanting to be left behind, Light steps up and takes down several of the monsters. While searching for Ella, he notices one of the creatures sneaking up behind her. Before he can attack, Lena leaps in and takes it out with a single powerful strike. Nice work, Light says, impressed. I've spent the past 3 months fighting more battles than I ever wanted, Lena replies. She checks on Ella, who reassures her I'm fine. Nothing's going to happen to me. After clearing the first floor, the group moves to the second. There are 18 missing adventurers, Light says, but we've already encountered more undead than that. Lena thinks about it. Could other undead have joined the ones who were already here? Light nods. It's possible. There might be other groups of undead in this place. They rush to the second floor where another challenge awaits. A shadowy figure appears, waiting for Light. Just as they prepare to confront her, a horde of undead blocks their path. The group fights together, but something is different about these monsters, they're thinking, strategizing. These creatures are acting strangely, Light says. Ella, can your evaluation skill tell us anything? Ella focuses her skill and gasps. These monsters are being controlled. There's a tamer here, a skill that lets someone influence monsters. That means someone is pulling the strings. Suddenly, Ella shouts, look out! Someone is attacking with sharp threads! The group runs toward the source of the attack and finds a large door. They open it cautiously, only to discover a ballroom. Light looks confused. A ballroom? Ella explains it's a hall for dancing. They call it a ballroom. Before Light can respond, a voice echoes through the room. A woman steps forward, introducing herself as Dratnel, a member of the Black Swan Wings, an elite force of the Dark Order. I've been waiting a long time to see you, Light, she says with a smirk. Light doesn't hesitate. He charges at her, but Dratnel summons a horde of undead to block his path. Ella quickly uses her evaluation skill and discovers something shocking. She's a necromancer. Ella shouts. She can control corpses and spirits, and even use their unique skills. Dratnel is visibly surprised. That little girl can use an evaluation skill, she mutters. Light tries to reason with her. If you're an adventurer, why don't we work together instead of fighting? Dratnel laughs coldly. Work together? I'm here to kill the Master of Fruits, not make alliances. She orders the undead to attack Light. Light fights off the monster skillfully, but he's confused. Why are you trying to kill me? He asks. Dratnel pauses. It's an order I was given, but I can't tell you more. It's a secret. Light realizes she must have known he was coming all along. Lena, watching the battle, says, I've never heard of a group like the Black Swan Wings or a skill as powerful as necromancy. Dratnel smirks. I've grown tired of waiting for you to get here, Light. Since you've taken so long, you'll have to entertain me properly. More undead swarm toward the group. Let's take them down together, Light shouts. They're not as strong when we work as a team, he adds. The undead begin to target Lena, and she recognizes some of them. Wait, I know these people, she says, her voice trembling. Dratnel notices Ella and moves to attack her, but Light rushes in to save her, taking out the attacker just in time. More zombies close in on Light. He thinks, how am I supposed to fight them all while protecting Ella? Dratnel orders the zombies to focus on Light. He dodges and counters their attacks, but he's quickly surrounded. Meanwhile, Lena faces two undead adventurers she once knew. She blocks their strikes, her expression conflicted. "I have to take them down," Lena says, her voice firm. Memories flood her mind when she first arrived in the Holy City. These two were the first to befriend her. "Why don't you join us?" one of them had asked her back then. She remembers agreeing, and weeks later hearing the boy say, "Congratulations, we heard you've been promoted to rank A." Snapping back to the present, Lena steels herself. The boy and the girl, her former friends, are now attacking her. Around her, more zombies close in, their lifeless eyes locked on their prey. Here's the continuation of your story translated into casual American English. Lena looks over at Light and Ella struggling to fend off the attacks. She thinks, if only I could cut the threads controlling them. There has to be a weak spot somewhere. Lena prepares to strike down the undead, but as she looks at them, she remembers her friends. Pain fills her heart as memories of the past flood her mind. She imagines the boy's voice saying, "What you're trying to do isn't wrong. It seems like our adventure ends here. The future of our dreams is in your hands now." Lena clenches her fists, tears welling up. "The best way I can honor them now is by ending this myself," she whispers. "I'll finish this quickly without any pain." With resolve, Lena charges forward, her blade swift and precise. She cuts down her former friends, tears streaming down her face. When it's over, she collapses to her knees, mourning them deeply. Meanwhile, Light battles the undead relentlessly, cutting down wave after wave, but more keep coming. "They just keep appearing no matter how many I destroy," Light exclaims. He turns to Ella. "Can your necromancy skill create undead to fight for us?" Ella shakes her head. "I can't create undead, but I can control the ones around me." Light looks around, puzzled. Where are they all coming from? This castle has been abandoned for years. It's not like a graveyard or a battlefield. There shouldn't be this many undead here. Ella nods. "I'll take a closer look from afar," she says. Dratnel smirks. "You're sharper than I thought, Light." "I like clever people," she says mockingly. "But before things get too complicated, I think it's time for me to say goodbye." She activates her evaluation skill, clearly preparing for another strike. This time she targets Ella. "I'll make sure that little girl doesn't bother me again," Dratnel declares, lunging toward her. Before she can land the blow, Light intercepts her, shielding Ella. "Stop trying to hurt a little girl," he shouts angrily. Dratnel sneers. "Keep getting in my way and I'll kill all of you myself." Light glares at her. "The only way out of this mess is to fight." Ella, standing behind Light, grips his back tightly for support. "I've got your back," she says, her voice steady despite the chaos. Dratnel watches in disbelief. "That child, she's braver than I expected," she mutters, clearly taken aback by their determination. And so this episode of the anime concludes with our heroes standing strong against overwhelming odds. Stay tuned for the next exciting episode. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for updates on all our latest content. Our episode kicks off with Lena going all out in a fierce battle, tearing through enemies with raw determination. But there's a catch: she's separated from Light. Her mind races, desperate to reunite with Light and Isla ASAP. Meanwhile, we cut to Light carrying Ayla on his shoulder like a champ as she analyzes these relentless monsters. They're trying to crack the mystery. Why do these creatures keep regenerating and showing up like there's no end to them? The situation's getting way out of hand. There are just too many of them. They need a vantage point, and fast. Light makes a bold move, heading to higher ground. He climbs up, grabs onto a massive chandelier like some kind of action hero, and holds Ayla up with one arm. Yep, one arm. Even though she's pretty heavy, he doesn't flinch. Ayla scans the scene, and suddenly it clicks. She figures it out. The vampire causing all this chaos is using a summoning skill boosted by another skill. And guess what? It's Count Monty's, yeah, the Count Montes, but now he's turned into an undead nightmare. Just as Ayla uncovers the truth, Dratena shows up. She realizes they're close to figuring everything out and makes a move to stop them. But then boom, something even crazier happens. Up above, they spot him. Yep, it's the big bad himself, the boss of all bosses, the one pulling the strings, the Reaper. This monster doesn't just command an undead army, he turns the living into them with just a touch. One swipe from him and you're toast, or worse, undead toast. The Reaper lunges at them, his attack almost connecting, but Light leaps out of the way with insane speed, narrowly avoiding disaster. Dratena drops a truth bomb. Count Montes, once a famous adventurer, became an undead freak because he summoned this soul-reaping nightmare, and it's as tragic as it sounds. Light pieces it together. This Reaper is the reason so many people have vanished. Turns out, Montes called forth the Reaper to fend off intruders, and now every mid-tier adventurer who's at foot here has ended up as undead fodder. But why would a successful adventurer like Montes summon a monster so deadly? That's when Dratena delivers the kicker. Oh, you sweet summer child, you really don't know, do you? Forbidden skills, kid? They're the dark arts of the adventurer world. Just having one makes people hate and fear you. She spills the backstory. Manta's summoning skill was one of those forbidden ones. At first, the world hailed him as a hero, a man with unmatched power. But then the paranoia set in. What if Mantas turned his strength against the people? Fear gripped the townsfolk and the government alike. They turned on him, branding him a traitor. Montes fled here, his life in ruins, hounded by assassins every step of the way. Recently, a fresh batch of killers was sent under the guise of a monster density survey. Montes, desperate and cornered, summoned the Reaper as a last-ditch defense against these relentless pursuers. And now, Light, Lena, and Ayla are caught in the aftermath of Monty's tragic fall from grace. So what's next? Will they take down the Reaper? Or is this the endgame for our heroes? Stay tuned, folks, because this story's only getting started. Montes, the former Count, might have decided that if he couldn't live in peace, no one else would either. And that's exactly how this cursed castle became a death trap. Light, shaken by the realization, blurts out, "Wait, what? How could a whole team of assassins have been after him?" The guild never told us anything about this. Dratna lets out a mocking laugh, her voice dripping with condescension before diving back into the fight. Meanwhile, Light's thoughts spiral. Forbidden skills, does that mean I could use the Lord of Fruits to gain an infinite number of abilities? Did the guild, did the whole world know about these things all along? Lost in his thoughts, Light barely notices an incoming sneak attack. At the last second, instinct kicks in, and he dodges. But even as he moves, his mind keeps racing. What if one day they turn on me too? What if I end up just like Montes, cast aside and hunted down? And now, my friends, let me remind you, don't let these thoughts consume you. If you do good, do it with no regrets. Trust that the universe or whatever higher power you believe in has your back. Light snaps out of his trance and refocuses on the fight. He tells Ayla, "I noticed something about these undead while watching their movements. Dratna is using some kind of strange ability, maybe summoning magic or soul binding to control them. They keep repeating the same attacks over and over like mindless machines until she gives them new orders." Thinking fast, Light uses his tactical genius to set up a clever feint. He makes it look like he's going in for a direct attack, but it's all a distraction. From behind, Lena moves in silently, completely unnoticed by Dratna. With one swift, devastating strike, she takes out the Reaper. Lena stands over the fallen ghost, her breathing heavy. She turns to Dratna, her voice calm but firm. "I know you're not great with timing, Dratna, but don't worry, I'm not going to kill you. Not yet, at least. I've got a lot of questions, and you're going to answer every single one of them." Before Dratna can respond, Light charges at Montes, aiming to finish him off, but Montes resists. Dratna smirks, her voice dripping with malice as she orders Montes to summon something. The room grows cold, the air heavy, and then it appears a gigantic dragon, its scales gleaming like black steel, its eyes burning with otherworldly fire. Dratna is ecstatic, her laughter echoing through the hall. Yes, this is better than anything I could have dreamed of. But her joy is short-lived. The dragon, clearly not a fan of being summoned, lashes out with a thunderous strike, sending Dratna crashing to the ground. Lena watches the scene unfold, her face grim. This isn't just any dragon. I've heard of this one. It's a high-tier beast, one of those nightmare targets that even S-rank adventurers rarely go after. And when they do, they don't come back. She pauses, then adds, "Still, if we combine our abilities, we might." "No." Ayla shouts, cutting her off. "This isn't a normal fight. That dragon is immune to slashing attacks. Its scales are unbreakable. Your swords won't do a thing." But Light doesn't listen. Fueled by determination or maybe stubbornness, he leaps into action, his sword raised high. He lands a direct blow on the dragon's massive form, only for his sword to shatter into pieces. He stumbles back, staring at the broken blade in disbelief. "Lena," he yells, "what the hell do we do now? If we turn our backs, that thing will tear us apart." The dragon roars, its fury shaking the castle walls. The stakes have never been higher. Can Light, Lena, and Ayla outsmart a beast that seems completely invincible? Or is this where their story ends? Stay tuned, because the real fight is just beginning. Ayla spoke up with an idea. "Hey, Light, eat this fruit." Without hesitation, Light grabbed the fruit and took a big bite. Meanwhile, Dratna, still lying on the ground, couldn't help but smile. She was thrilled with what Montes had done summoning this massive dragon, one of the most powerful beasts in existence. Even she couldn't control something like that. Suddenly, a masked figure appeared, scooped Dratna up, and vanished into thin air. Back to Light and the crew, Lena turned to Ayla, her curiosity piqued. "Wait, why do you have skill fruits on you?" Ayla shrugged. "I brought a few along just in case. I figured they might come in handy, especially now that we're up against an evil dragon. Better than running in blind, don't you think?" The dragon roared, its massive claws swiping dangerously close as the group scrambled to dodge its attacks. Light, determined to turn the tide, decided to eat one of the skill fruits to see what new powers he could unlock. "Don't do it," Lena warned. "Those things can seriously mess you up if you're not careful." But Light smirked. "Relax, I'm immune to the fruit's poison. I can eat as many as I want." Lena looked uneasy. But what if the skill's useless or worse, it messes with your sword abilities? Ignoring her, Light bit into the fruit. Ayla analyzed his newfound skill. Okay, so you've got insect resistance. Light froze, insect resistance. That's it. He looked at the dragon, which was clearly not an insect. Frustrated, he muttered, great. Lena, realizing time was running out, charged at the dragon. I'll distract it. You guys figure something out. As she faced the beast head-on, Light turned to Ayla. Give me 2 more fruits. I'll eat them together. What? Are you crazy? Ayla cried. We don't even know what'll happen if you mix them? We don't have a choice. Light shot back. We're running out of time. He grabbed the fruits and gulped them down. Ayla quickly analyzed the skills. Okay, so you can now tame cats. What? And the other one is weapon durability enhancement. It makes your weapons less likely to break. Light facepalm. Seriously, my sword already broken. That would have been great 5 minutes ago. Suddenly he stumbled, clutching his chest. The effects of eating 2 fruits at once were taking a toll. His body felt like it was on fire. If the next skill isn't useful, he gasped, I'm done for. Meanwhile, Lena was struggling. Exhausted, she swung her sword at the dragon, but it shattered on impact. The beast retaliated, its tail slamming into her with brutal force, sending her crashing to the ground. Light, seeing Lena in trouble, forced himself to his feet. With trembling hands, he ate another fruit. This time, something changed. A red beam of energy shot out from his palms, humming with power. He grabbed a nearby rock, charged it with the red energy, and hurled it at the dragon. The rock exploded on impact, sending the creature reeling. Sorry I kept you waiting, Lena, Light called out, a cocky grin spreading across his face. Let's finish this. Ayla ran over to Lena, panting, and said, turns out Light's new skill is Sleep Spirit. Anything that inhales those scales will be knocked out cold. Light, hyped up by the news, unleashed Sleep Spirit on the dragon. The shimmering scales filled the air, but instead of passing out, the dragon went berserk, roaring even louder. Why isn't it working? Light yelled. Ayla quickly analyzed. The scales are too light, they're dispersing before reaching the evil dragon. They can only travel about 3 meters. Light's mind raced. If he wanted to make the dragon inhale the scales, he'd need to get up close. Really close. He looked up and smirked. Got it. Using his broken sword as a tool, Light smashed the ceiling, causing chunks of debris to fall around the dragon. He darted and jumped from piece to piece, climbing higher until he was standing right above the beast's massive head. Time for a nap, big guy, he muttered. With one final push, Light unleashed Sleep Spirit directly into the dragon's face. The dragon roared in defiance, thrashing wildly, but then its movement slowed. Its eyes drooped. Finally, with a thunderous crash, the dragon collapsed, fast asleep. About time, Light muttered as he jumped down. The team didn't waste a second. Run, Lena shouted, and they bolted out of the crumbling building, just as it exploded behind them. Outside, Light caught his breath, looking at his team with a smirk. Let's head home, grab a reward, and treat ourselves to some good food. I'm starving. The scene shifted to the group arriving back at their base. Light turned to Ayla and said, you really saved us back there. Thanks. But before anyone could respond, Light suddenly collapsed, exhaustion overtaking him. The next scene opened in a dimly lit room. A mysterious man was carrying the unconscious Dratnea. A girl approached him, her voice sharp. What about Light? What's his deal? The man chuckled. I was honestly surprised to hear he managed to take down the evil dragon. Impressive. But he's no threat to us, the Black Swan. As he walked away, the girl smirked. I can't believe he's that strong. Then again, his power comes from an a priori. Maybe there's nothing else special about him. She paused, her eyes narrowing. Still, our meeting with him is drawing closer. And that, my friends, wraps up today's episode of this epic anime. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell to stay updated with all the latest action. See you next time. Our episode today begins on a bright and sunny morning. Ella and Lena are preparing food, but they also need to tend to the garden. Lena offers to water the plants, but Ella tells her she just did that. At that moment, Light walks in and says, I feel so refreshed. I can't sleep anymore. However, the girls grab him, lift him onto their shoulders, and insist you need to rest. You ate 4 whole fruits at once, you're going to get sick. They take him back to bed, and Lena checks his temperature. It's stabilized, but they warn him not to push himself and that he needs to rest and eat properly. Ella prepares him a meal, and it turns out to be amazing. Lena then informs him that they've received a mandatory summons from the Adventurers Guild. They want more details about the appearance of the evil dragon. Light decides he'll join them, but Ella protests, saying he needs to stay and rest. She promises to tell him everything when they return. The girls head to the guild and are greeted by a receptionist who tells them they'll have to wait 2 hours for the meeting hall to open. During this time, they discover that the younger girl among them isn't officially registered as an adventurer. Lena tells her, then we need to fix that. The receptionist hands her a form to fill out. Afterward, Lena suggests they go shopping, but Ella admits she has no money, feeling embarrassed. Lena reassures her, I'm like your big sister and you're my little sister. Don't worry about it. They head out, buy ice cream, and stroll through the city streets. Along the way, they pass a shop that catches Ella's eye. Lena, however, is shocked to see how expensive everything is. Despite this, they enter and Ella notices some raw diamonds. Using her appraisal skill, she confirms their authenticity. The shopkeeper overhears and, thinking it's impossible for the diamonds to be genuine, offers to sell them at a discounted price. Lena buys them, and Ella is overjoyed. Next, they visit Miss Rena's dress shop. Rena is a talented seamstress, and Lena explains she wants an elegant outfit that also suits an adventurer style. Afterward, they return to the guild and enter the meeting hall. Meanwhile, back at the house, Light is doing exercises. A small fairy encourages him to rest, but he stubbornly pushes his body to its limits. Eventually, he lies down, recalling memories of Lena and Ella. Elsewhere, Lena and Ella are walking alongside a maid who explains that gathering as much information as possible about the evil dragon is crucial. Lena assures her we'll do everything we can to help. Internally, however, she thinks, I don't plan on handing over all our information easily. We accepted this invitation to uncover the truth about Dratina's origins. Someone hired her to kill us, and the guild knew we were heading to the Count's estate. This means someone is plotting against us. I need to investigate further. It's likely that the higher-ups who appointed us are behind this mystery. They enter the grand meeting hall, a massive space filled with authority and importance. Before them stand the four main offices of the guild. The guild leader presides over them, with these offices functioning as the organization's backbone. 1. The investigation office, led by a young woman wearing a hat, responsible for studying monster habitats and density. 2. The security office, headed by a man with a large mustache and white hair, nicknamed Tiger Beard. He ensures public order. 3. The finance office, led by a man with long hair and narrow eyes, nicknamed Gravekeeper, who handles rewards and financial matters. 4. The inspection office, run by a woman who maintains order across all guild sectors. Our episode's big question, who is the person responsible and actively trying to kill them? Leave your guesses in the comments below. The episode picks up with the Saintess, who is the head of inspections, addressing the group. She praises them for their excellent work at Count Monty's former estate and is relieved to see everyone safe. Lena, however, is internally fuming, thinking, I can't stand this woman, I don't want to see her at all, but I'm curious to see her reaction. The guild receptionist leans in and explains that Saintess is the highest-ranking member of the inspection office. She's the one connecting all the other offices together. She's the most important person in the guild. Ella attempts to appraise the Saintess but fails, which surprises her. The Saintess begins her questioning. Tell me everything about that evil dragon. Describe what you saw. Lena interrupts. Before anything else, I have a question. At the estate where we were attacked, there was a woman named Dratina from the Black Swan group. Does anyone here know anything about the Black Swan or Dratina? The room falls silent. Everyone claims they've never heard of those names. One member suggests searching the guild archives, but they need special permission to access them. For now, the priority is locating the evil dragon's lair and deciding how to handle it. Lena produces a black dragon scale, revealing she picked it up while leaving the estate. She declares, I'll hand this over, but I have one condition. You let me see all records related to Dratina. The members agree. The head of investigations uses her magical skill to extract written information from any book. She reveals that 12 years ago in the lake capital of Athena, a girl named Dratina obtained a skill fruit that granted her the ability to summon spirits. She mentions that this was approved by the guild's overseer at the time. Lena asks, what's the connection between you and Dratina? The investigator explains, I grant skills to about 1,000 people every year. I don't recall anything specific from 12 years ago. She thanks Lena for providing such a valuable clue, but abruptly announces that all records of the Luxuria team will be deleted because Light illegally recruited a member and forcibly removed her from her previous team. Light suddenly appears and Lena informs him about the deletion of their team's records. He asks what gives her the right to do that. The guild receptionist replies, the Saintess has the authority to make any decision. Unfazed, Light responds, I don't care. Whether the records are deleted or not, will always be the Luxuria team. The Saintess uses her magic-infused eyes and something strange happens. She unexpectedly changes her mind, offering Light's team one last chance. She assigns them an S-rank mission to hunt a monster. Lena is suspicious, wondering why the same test changed her mind so suddenly. She warns Light, but he brushes it off, more focused on defeating the monster and the reward. I know there's probably a trap here, Light admits, but I want to become a powerful adventurer and leave my mark on history. The team accepts the mission, though Lena remains skeptical. Outside, Ella mentions that she tried to use her skill to assess the Saint test but couldn't see anything, which is highly unusual. Suddenly, the Gravekeeper, head of finance, appears, informing Light that weapons aren't allowed in the meeting room. He demands a fine of 1,000 gold. Light retorts, I know, but this isn't a weapon. It's broken. The Gravekeeper replies, fine removed. But I'm imposing a new fine of 5,000 gold because that broken sword is guild property and you didn't maintain it properly. Light and his friends head to the guild, where the receptionist informs him that he's banned from borrowing any more weapons. He'll need to commission his own sword from the blacksmith. Light agrees, eager to take down the dragon. Lena, however, decides to visit Athena while Light waits for his new sword to be crafted. They say their goodbyes, and the episode ends. For more episodes, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. Liam finds himself in the body of a young man from a family on the brink of collapse, and he decides to explore his dream of learning magic, only to discover that his newfound passion may change both his fate and that of his family forever. Our story begins with a boy waking up to find himself seated at a grand dining table during a lavish celebration. He is bewildered, wondering where he is and why he is there, as the last thing he remembers before falling asleep was being at his work desk. When he looks into a mirror, he screams in shock. His face has changed, and he now appears as a young child. Next, we see Count Hamilton, who instructs him to behave properly, addressing him as Liam, the fifth son of the Hamilton family. The boy then realizes that this Count is his father and that he has been transported to another world, taking on the identity of Liam. A maid informs him that the Count is in a good mood today because he has finally been blessed with a daughter after having only sons. The following morning, Liam wakes up and the maid brings him his clothes. Liam reveals to us that the owner of this body is named Liam Hamilton, the fifth son of the Count, but he has no idea why this has happened to him. We then see Liam sitting with his older brother, Bruno, the fourth son of the family. Bruno tells Liam that their family is on the brink of ruin because this is the natural cycle dictated by the kingdom. Families either achieve great accomplishments or lose their status after 3 generations. If their father does not allow their eldest brother to inherit the title, their family will become commoners. Their teacher enters the room to begin their lesson for the day, which is about magic. Liam becomes very excited, much to Bruno's surprise. Bruno questions Liam's enthusiasm, explaining that only 1 out of every 100 people possesses magical talent. After the lesson, Liam rushes to the library, grabs a book on magic, and tries using magic. To his astonishment, he succeeds. Liam then takes several books on magic from the library and starts studying magic diligently day after day. A month later, we see Liam in the forest with his brother. Liam casts a magic spell, surprising his brother, who is astonished that Liam managed to learn magic in just 1 month. When Bruno tries to use magic himself, he fails. Liam realizes that his body must have had magical talent all along, and if he can master magic, he will secure a place for himself in the kingdom. Liam returns home and decides to advance to learning ice magic, but his father appears and requests to see his magical abilities. Liam demonstrates his ice magic on a book, but admits he is still a beginner in ice magic. He proudly shows his fire magic skills instead. His father is amazed that Liam mastered fire magic in just 1 month and becomes very pleased. He tells Liam to take any magic books he desires from the library. Shortly after, a guard whispers something to the Count, who then orders his soldiers to gather immediately. As Liam walks outside, he sees a boy named Raymond sitting under a tree. Raymond asks Liam if he is indeed one of the Hamilton family members. When Liam confirms, Raymond cryptically tells him to do whatever he pleases. Liam is puzzled by his words and asks what exactly he means. Raymond initially assumes Liam has come to capture him, but Liam, unaware of anything, explains that he's just a child. When Raymond notices the magic book in Liam's hand, he realizes Liam is learning basic magic. Raymond advises Liam that the best way to learn magic is through consistent and regular practice. Liam responds that he knows this, which is why he was on his way to train. Raymond, wanting to teach Liam a better and more effective way to use magic, demonstrates by channeling 5 elements of magic simultaneously in one hand. Liam is astonished by this feat and eagerly agrees to be trained by Raymond, who notes that Liam lacks the meaningless pride typical of most nobles. Raymond starts by asking Liam to draw a circle with his left hand and a square with his right hand simultaneously. Liam successfully does this. Raymond explains that magic works similarly. He must use different spells with each hand. Liam tries this and manages to cast 2 types of magic at the same time. Raymond is impressed because this technique, known as the Enigma, can only be mastered by 1 in a million people. Raymond then trains Liam to use 3 types of magic simultaneously. Liam succeeds briefly but quickly runs out of magical energy. Thinking he failed, Liam is reassured by Raymond, who explains that the technique consumed too much energy, and Liam's success was already a significant achievement. To help Liam control his magical energy better, Raymond asks him to sit on the ground and draws prime numbers in front of him. When Liam reads the numbers, Raymond explains that the technique relies on prime numbers because using sequential numbers could cause problems with even and odd transitions, like moving from 4 to 6 or 9. After some practice, Raymond asks Liam about his age. Liam replies that he is 12 years old. Raymond tells him he has a bright future and that his ability to listen to advice is a great weapon. When Raymond asks if Liam wants to learn more magic, Liam eagerly agrees. Raymond then gives him a magical ring, explaining that it contains the equivalent of 100 magic books. Liam is thrilled and puts on the ring, instantly feeling over 300 spells flowing into his mind. Raymond asks Liam to try casting a spell. Liam uses the wind bullet spell and succeeds. However, when Liam turns to talk to Raymond, he finds him gone. Just then, Liam's maid arrives, bringing him his magic book. She warns him about the dangers of being out here alone and gives him the book, stating that his father instructed her to deliver it. She then urges Liam to return to the castle quickly before walking away. Raymond reappears, explaining that he concealed himself using magic to avoid being seen. He advises Liam not to stay here any longer, but offers to teach him one final lesson. He asks Liam to open the book the maid brought. Inside, Liam finds a summoning spell for Salamander, a low-level fire spirit. Raymond instructs Liam to try casting this spell while wearing the ring. Liam places his hands on the magic book, and from it emerges a small creature. The man speaks to Liam, explaining that the book's magical contents should be seen as a notebook with blank pages, while the ring itself is not extraordinary but merely a tool to save him the burden of carrying the book. Liam, however, tells him he cannot accept such a valuable gift as the book is incredibly useful. Placing his hands on the book again, Liam summons various creatures and people, delighting in his success. The mentor disappears once more, prompting Liam to ask, "Did you use that concealment spell again?" The mentor replies, "Keep studying magic. We'll meet again someday, but don't tell anyone about me." Liam reflects, thinking to himself, "We spent such a short time together and I don't even know his name, but that man is my teacher." About a month after his teacher's departure, in the same training spot, Liam demonstrates significant progress in magic. Bruno approaches him, asking what he is doing. Liam explains about white charcoal, noting that it burns hotter than regular wood charcoal, produces no smoke, and lasts longer. Bruno is impressed and inquires how Liam managed it. Liam reveals he made it using magic. Bruno also notices something else and asks, "Are these liquor crystals? They can restore consumed magical energy? Did you make these using magic as well?" Liam nods, explaining that it was challenging at first since it required the simultaneous use of 5 types of magic. Bruno is astonished, acknowledging Liam's exceptional abilities. He reassures Liam, saying, "You'll be fine on your own in the future. I'm planning to marry into a lower-ranked but devout noble family. They're poorer than the Hamiltons, but I'll gain more freedom that way." Bruno shares more family history, revealing that after Liam's birth, their father desperately wanted a daughter to marry into the royal family to secure their noble standing. However, Liam was born as another son. Their father then sent 1,000 soldiers to defeat a powerful sealed beast on their land, hoping for glory. Unfortunately, the soldiers suffered a devastating loss, with 90% perishing. Bruno candidly admits that the Hamilton family's noble status is nearing its end and advises Liam to think about achieving independence. Liam thanks his brother for his honesty. After Bruno leaves, Liam contemplates securing funds for his independence. He decides he wants something with greater profit potential. While exploring, he eats at a local shop and is amazed by the food. The shopkeeper explains that pasta is very popular in the city. Inspired, Liam takes some pasta back to the castle and asks the maid to try it. Following his instructions, she pours hot water on it, and everyone is amazed by its flavor. The chef declares it delicious, even though it is preserved food. The scene shifts to Liam negotiating with a merchant. The merchant refuses to trade the goods, stating that only Liam's eldest brother, Sir Brevet, has the authority to conduct business on Hamilton land without permission. Frustrated, Liam vows not to let his brother monopolize their lands. He regrets not knowing about this law earlier and doubts his father will grant him the permission he needs to fund his independence. Determined, Liam heads to the forest. He explains a storage spell he learned from a magic encyclopedia, a useful spell that compresses items into a small storage space. Initially, the stored items vanished when the spell dissipated, but after a month of practice, Liam perfected it. He then successfully summons a magical clone of himself, celebrating his progress. Liam sends the clone to the city, where it uses magic to create and sell various inventions. The money earned goes toward funding Liam's independence. The episode begins with Liam, now a bit older, still training to use magic. He has gained precise control over it, and at this time, his older brother Albrevet comes to him, mentioning that he has heard about how impressive Liam has become lately, as everyone is talking about his magical skills. He then asks Liam what he wants to become in the future, and Liam realizes that Albrevet is worried that Liam might replace him as the heir, since he eldest son of the Hamilton family and the future head of the family. Liam responds by saying that he would like to resign soon, if possible, and find a job that allows him to support himself. Albrevet then tells him about the Hunters Guild where he can join. Liam goes to the guild to join, but when he enters, everyone is surprised to see him, as he is just a child. They mock him, saying that this place isn't for kids and that he should go to his father. But Liam ignores them and continues on his way to the president. When the president sees him, he recognizes him and asks him to take a test since they can't send him to a place beyond his abilities, which could lead to his death. The president then asks Liam to cast an offensive spell he is skilled in, and even though Liam can't use his full power, he uses an illusion spell. The spell amazes everyone as they have never seen such a high-level magic before. The president then tells him that he will grant him a rank B license. Liam leaves the guild, not understanding the importance of the rank B license. At that moment, a female adventurer named Asuna calls out to him, asking if they can hunt together, as hunting is very dangerous and working in a team is much safer. Liam agrees, as he likes cheerful people like Asuna. While they are walking in the forest, Liam asks her why they don't take any missions, and she explains that usually only those ranked A and above can take hunting jobs. At that moment, a pack of huge wolves appears, and Liam casts his gnome spell, summoning strange creatures that defeat the wolves. They then return to the guild with the defeated monsters. When the president sees them, he decides to hire them for a task, as they are very strong. Indeed, they are given the task and head to the forest, excited because this is their first job, meaning their strength has been recognized. They are tasked with hunting a giant larva, and Asuna is scared because she doesn't know how to deal with such a monster. These creatures have magical stones inside their bodies, and sometimes they use magic or advanced combat techniques, making them much more dangerous than ordinary beasts. At this moment, Liam decides not to use his illusion magic today, as he wants all his resources to be available. They try to hunt the giant larva using various methods, but it's too tough and no spells seem to work on it. Then an idea comes to Liam. He plans to have Asuna distract the larva, making it chase her while Liam will drop a large box on it. This strategy succeeds, and they manage to kill the larva. They return to the guild with 2 larvae, the second of which Liam found by quickly using a spell to detect enemies. The president is once again amazed by their strength and increases their reward 5-fold, which makes them very happy. Later, a significant person named James Stanley arrives at the guild and requests to meet Liam. When they sit together, James welcomes him and tells him that he's the 5th son of Raymond. James then asks about Liam's connection to Raymond, as the ring on Liam's finger belongs to Raymond. Liam doesn't know what he's talking about, so James explains that Raymond had given him the ring. James laughs, saying that Raymond often sneaks into the most dangerous places. James then speaks to Simon and orders him to stand in a corner. He asks Liam to cast his strongest offensive spell on Simon because he wants to see the full extent of Liam's strength. Liam thinks about using chants, as he has researched them and learned that they temporarily raise the maximum limit of his magic power. Suddenly, he casts the spell on Simon, and James is amazed by the power. He tells Liam that he should become independent in the future and will grant him the title of knight. Liam agrees, though he will stay with his family until he reaches adulthood. Afterward, Liam performs the ritual and officially becomes a knight, with James giving him a powerful sword. James then tells him that there is nothing specific he must do. He mentions that escaping from his brother's hostility will be a big challenge, and his father might feel conflicted as he hoped to use Liam's power for the family. Liam reflects on this, and James tells him that he can help in various ways, as his accomplishments will reflect back on his family. James then asks Liam if he has ever felt like Raymond tricked him. Liam recalls a time when he was training a spell for a storage box and ended up absorbing all the water from a lake. Raymond had sent him a message saying he had mastered the spell and wouldn't collect gold ingots, so he scattered gold dust into the lake instead. The scene continues with the message from Liam's mentor explaining that the gold dust in the lake was just a disguise for his graduation gift. The real gift is something hidden nearby, a treasure not immediately obvious. This is the true graduation gift. Later, we see Liam in the forest where he uses his storage box spell to absorb all the water from the lake. He mixes in the gold dust, telling himself that it's no different from leaving the gold ingots in the lake. He then opens the box, descending into it, and reads a message from his mentor, which explains that the true gift is a powerful magical book, something his mentor could not use, but hopes Liam can. The book contains a spell for creating a space in another world, one that expands according to the user's magical ability. No one can enter without the user's permission, and the items inside will not disappear once the spell is fully mastered. This spell is similar to the storage box, but it allows living creatures, including humans, to enter. Liam is excited and wonders if he could even build a secret magical house in this new world. He thanks his mentor and is eager to train with the new spell. A month later, we see Liam and Asuna in the forest battling a monster using his magic. Afterward, Liam uses the new spell to create a barrier and protect them from a spell the monster cast. They defeat the monster, and as they return to the guild with the magical stone, the man there recognizes it as a Ranka item from a giant frog. He remarks that they should have struggled more, but thanks them for what they've done. Asuna, feeling the need to become stronger, expresses her concern that Liam will leave her behind. The man explains that she could become his follower through a contract which would increase her strength to protect her master. Asuna asks Liam if they can make such a contract, confident that he won't do anything strange, and Liam agrees. The man activates the contract between them, making him the witness. Asuna gains a new skill called Accelerator. Liam explains that this is the power of a follower's contract and expresses his desire to conduct more research. However, for that, they need an experimental sample, which may be done willingly or unwillingly. Next, the scene shifts to a house where Asuna introduces Liam to Judy, an experienced hunter who helps them with various tasks. Judy understands what's going on and agrees to help them, assuming they found someone special. Asuna recommends Judy as a great ally in battle. Afterward, they go to the guild and make a contract with Judy, who has a unique skill. They ask her about it, and she tells them to wait for a moment. We see Judy preparing sandwiches, which she takes to a wounded man, offering him a meal. After eating, the man says his wounds have completely healed. Judy comments that her cooking seems to heal wounds, and everyone is amazed by this unexpected ability. A few days later, at James' palace, Liam says that the first princess of the kingdom of Jamil, Princess Scarlet, is coming. He informs James that she is aware of his achievements. You have completed rank missions in the Hunters Guild at the age of 12. You are a magician capable of casting up to 11 spells simultaneously, and you are an expert able to develop and strengthen your followers. Princess Scarlet is particularly interested in you, especially in your followers. You need to explain this to her. Liam refuses, saying that his followers are his friends, not for display, and they cannot simply obey his commands. He adds that he doesn't want to ask them to do anything. James, irritated, responds, "We are talking about the princess here," and orders Liam to leave. Later, we see the princess disguised as a maid. James apologizes to her, but she tells him, "It's not your fault, but don't speak to me like that." The episode ends with Liam leaving, and the narrator invites viewers to stay tuned for the next episodes. The video encourages viewers to like, subscribe, and activate the notification bell to receive updates on new content. The episode begins with Liam visiting Princess Scarlet Sherry in her castle. She requests that he tell her how he managed to defeat the flesh-eating larva and the giant frog. Liam recounts his actions, and she responds with surprise, saying it's the first time she's heard of someone defeating a giant frog without using high-level magic. She explains that the usual tactic is to eliminate them quickly with advanced magic. Liam expresses his desire to one day use such magic, mentioning that he's unsure of his own power. The princess then asks him about the contracts of his followers, wanting him to reveal them to her. Liam feels pressured and refuses, explaining that he cannot do so, as he won't allow his friends to be used as a spectacle. The princess laughs, remarking that she's never met someone like him before, and declares that he deserves a reward for his actions. She then bestows upon him the title of Baron, leaving Liam shocked because he doesn't feel he's achieved anything worthy of such a rank. She responds that his words amuse her, and she's very happy to have met him, adding that this is far better than marrying him. The princess gives Liam a familiar book, a magical book used for forming contracts with followers. Liam is thrilled and eager to read it. He heads to the forest with the book to study it, knowing that his contracts will be nullified if he leaves the magical book behind before mastering its magic. At this moment, his brother Bruno appears to congratulate him on his reward. Bruno remarks that their brother Albrevet must be very upset now, as Liam has surpassed their father in rank. Liam is surprised, considering himself just a baron. Bruno explains that in their nation, nobles are divided into generations. The first generation achieves something on their own, while the second generation inherits their positions. Naturally, those who accomplish things themselves are more admired. Later that night, Liam is wandering around his home, reflecting on his new status above his father's rank. He encounters his brother Albrevet, who doesn't speak to him. Albrevet is visibly furious, thinking to himself how absurd it is that Liam, the fifth and least significant son is now a baron. As he walks, Albrivet overhears two maids talking about Liam's recent achievements. Enraged, he orders them to resign and go work for the baron if they think he's so great. The maids apologize, and when Albrivet demands to know who they think is more accomplished, himself or Liam, they nervously reply that it's him. Satisfied, he leaves, determined to accomplish something that will make everyone talk about him instead. The next morning, we see Liam sitting with Judy and Asuna. Judy tells Liam that she wants to work with him forever because he's her master. Liam asks her to drop the title master and just call him by his name. The girls are delighted, noting that he acts like a noble despite being so young. Liam then asks if they are willing to stay with him in his group, and they both enthusiastically agree. Liam takes Judy, Asuna, and the others to a large training field. Asuna runs with all her strength, striking a monster and immediately killing it. Liam compliments her, noting that her movements have improved significantly. Judy then mentions that her vision has also improved a lot. Liam doesn't fully understand what she means, so Judy explains that for a marksman, vision is the most important thing. You can't hit something, you can't something. Liam then uses his power to enhance Judy's vision, allowing her to see from very far away. Asuna asks him how he did it, and Liam explains that he enhanced her eyesight. Judy asks him to do the same for her, but Liam refuses, explaining that he can't enhance her offensive power, it would only add strain to her body, just like how people break their bones when they crash into something. He reassures her that enhancing her vision is fine, though. Judy then tests the new ability and successfully takes out a distant target with a single shot. She thanks Liam profusely. Afterward, they return to the guild only to find it in chaos. When Liam enters to see what's happening, someone tells him that the eldest son of Hamilton caused a great deal of disorder after failing miserably at removing a seal. This reminds Liam of his brother, who had passed by without speaking to him earlier. Liam rushes to the forest to see what's going on and finds many guards lying in pools of their own blood, including his brother Albrivet. He calls out to him, and when he approaches, Albrivet tells him that he didn't do it, and that he didn't want to fail here. The guild leader strikes Albrivet on the head, knocking him unconscious, and orders the guards to take him back to the city. He then tells Liam about a wicked dragon named Rodden that had been sealed inside the forest by Liam's grandfather, but the seal has now been broken. Liam realizes this is the dragon his brother Bruno mentioned earlier. The guild leader explains that they had gathered guards and adventurers to reseal the dragon, but they face a problem. Radon's young offspring, known as Radon's children, are causing the chaos. Liam is shocked to learn that it was the dragon's children who caused all this destruction, meaning the dragon itself must be far stronger. The guild leader continues, explaining that the dragon had been sealed away for a long time, and it will take about a week for it to regain its full strength. They need to reseal it before it wakes up. Just then, Radon's children appear and attack some of the adventurers. Liam observes that they are only the size of medium-sized dogs. Asuna decides to try facing them, running at them in an attempt to dodge their attacks. During the encounter, Liam uses his power to strike them, but nothing happens to the creatures. With no other choice, the adventurers are forced to retreat. Liam thinks to himself that the monsters are stronger than he anticipated, and there are 3 of them. He asks Asuna to take Judy and escape, then uses his magic to banish the monsters into a magical box. He's happy that it worked successfully. The Duke praises him, saying that he defeated the monsters on his own and killed all 3. Later, we see the mages using their magic on the dragon. Asuna and Judy come to check on Liam, and he explains to them that he used a spell called Otherworld, which creates a separate space by chanting. Living creatures can enter this space, and Judy asks if that means the dragons are trapped inside. Liam assures her not to worry, explaining that since he hasn't fully mastered the spell yet, everything inside disappears every time. Asuna marvels at him, saying the spell isn't offensive, but he thought of using it in this way. Suddenly, the dragon speaks, surprising everyone. It says to Liam, "The term evil dragon is what humans call me. I don't bother with human standards. After a few centuries, they'll call me something else." The dragon seems to read Liam's thoughts and adds, "It looks like your life will be interesting. Will you take me with you? I want to see your life. I won't harm you. In fact, I'll help you, but it will be based on the foundation you've built with your own efforts." The dragon then tells Liam that it wants to take his power, saying, "I don't feel any hostility from you. In fact, you remind me of my teacher." The dragon enters Liam's body, and a dragon mark appears on his hand. The old man, surprised, explains that the evil dragon has absorbed into Liam. Liam feels the dragon's power coursing through his body and tries out his magic, finding that it has become incredibly powerful. The old man thanks Liam, saying that he saved them from the dragon. Liam responds that it's his fault for causing them trouble with the overwhelming mana he's been emitting. He then gives the old man and the others a box of supplies which contains 10 kilograms of gold, telling them to consider it a disturbance tax. He asks them to distribute it, prioritizing the injured and those facing long recovery periods. The old man is impressed and comments, "If only you were the head of the Hamilton family instead of Albrevet." That night, Liam's father talks to him, saying, "A catastrophe would have occurred if not for your intervention. Thank you for cleaning up Albrevet's mess. I will keep him at home for a while. He's under house arrest for now." Liam thinks to himself that the guild leader mentioned that Albrevet might be disinherited in the worst-case scenario. His father continues, "Lord James is here in the city. Eventually, word of this will reach the kingdom, and someone will come to reward you." Later, Liam stands in front of his brother's room, thinking that he is partly responsible for Albrevet's reckless actions. He overhears his brother, furious, muttering to himself, "I can't believe Liam managed to defeat the evil dragon. I was supposed to do that." Liam hesitates at the door, wanting to enter, but hears his brother's words, "I only wanted to protect the Hamilton family." Feeling conflicted, Liam leaves and heads to his own room, pondering, "I had a strange dream, but I clearly remember it when I woke up. I was practicing magic," and he's excited to discover that he has new spells. The next day, Liam runs through the forest, trying out his magic. "I feel like I'm in another world. I should be able to use this once I've trained enough," he thinks. He successfully casts the spell, summoning a dragon that tells him, "Will be very useful in battle once you master this spell." Just then, the princess arrives, and the dragon disappears quickly. She's astonished to see that Liam is able to use holy magic, especially since it's just a child. She explains, "I came to see you on behalf of Hamilton. I asked your father to deliver a message. Defeating the evil dragon is a great achievement, but the elders won't allow me to give you a title higher than Baron since you don't have land. So I'll award you the third-class Medal of Honor. People need to know the truth of the dragon's defeat and that there's a hero. They'll ask how you defeated the evil dragon, and I may need to announce your title depending on how you did it." Liam is taken aback, but the princess insists, "You've certainly mastered holy magic, there's no doubt about it." The next day, the princess's followers appear with 3,000 gold coins. Liam realizes that she did this so that no one would speak ill of him. Everyone is amazed by the amount of gold, commenting, "We've never seen this many gold coins before." And with that, today's episode ends. Stay tuned for the next episodes. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell for all the latest updates. Our episode kicks off with Liam and Mr. James. Mr. James is straight up asking him if he really used magic or not. But Liam's like, I can't really answer that, cause the princess paid him to keep it hush-hush. But then the prince insists, "Spill the beans, tell the truth. Cause defeating that dragon ain't no walk in the park." According to reports, the massive dragon turned into a light and entered your body, and everyone saw it happen. So Liam's over here checking every inch of his body, staying quiet for a minute. Then he finally says, "Yeah, I learned some spells. I've been using magic." He then shows off a powerful spell, saying it can remove poison and petrification. He's like, "This kind of magic is top tier, everyone's after it." Mr. James asks him if he's ever heard of the 3 Dragon Wars, and Liam's like, no clue. So then the other guy explains there were 3 dragons, they fought each other once. One of them survived and took over after defeating the other 2. It's said that he used magic to establish a country, our country. Then Mr. James asks, "What do you think happens when a dragon joins with a human?" And Liam's like, "Well, maybe they got married and had kids." But nope, the truth's way crazier. Mr. James hits him with a straight-up question, "Didn't you join with a dragon, Liam?" And Liam's like, "Wait, what?" He's totally caught off guard, but then he realizes he's right. That dragon entered my body, we became one. So yeah, joining is basically merging together. This means Liam has the power to reshape and rebuild the country thanks to his newfound abilities. But he's got some cracks to figure out. First, like the Hamilton family, especially his dad, they earned their noble title by locking up the so-called evil dragon, but in reality, the dragon wasn't evil at all. They were tricking people, and the family ended up losing everything, but there's an even bigger problem. If that dragon's angry and wants revenge on our country, it could destroy everything. After all, he was wrongfully imprisoned. Liam reassures him, though, saying the dragon isn't mad. It actually told me before it entered my body. It seemed more interested in my life than anything. So, turns out the dragon actually saved our country without anyone realizing it. Pretty huge achievement, right? Mr. James is thrilled to hear this, totally pumped about it. After that, Liam walks off, talking to himself. He's thinking about how long casting spells take, and he realizes he needs to start casting them earlier. He also figures that shooting blank spells is a good way to practice. So as he walks through the city, he finally meets up with his 2 friends. They're like, hurry up, let's go. People are lining up to join your group now that you've defeated the evil dragon. So Liam gets handed a massive list of applicants, and he's totally shocked by how many there are. It turns out people are just trying to cash in on his success. After that, he heads back home and is hit with even more paperwork. The maid tells him it's a list of potential wives. Right then, his brother Bruno walks in and says, "This is one of the family relatives that I married off. She asked me to bring this to you and convince you to marry her." Dude, what did you do to get this famous? Liam's like, nothing much. I just took care of the evil dragon. Bruno's blown away by how popular Liam's gotten. Next, the scene shifts to when Liam and his friends head out into the forest. He uses a magic portal. Our episode begins with our heroes venturing into another world, determined to build an empire there. Everyone's hard at work, with Gulak acting as the foreman, giving construction orders and lending his skilled hands to the building efforts. Thanks to his expertise, the elves have made significant progress in constructing the village. Meanwhile, Liam is off training his magical abilities by hunting massive beasts. As he defeats these creatures, his skills grow stronger, and he clears the area of any threats that could endanger the group. During one of these training sessions, the princess appears, amazed by his abilities and strength. She tells him, "Liam, could you drop the formalities and call me by my name? I'm not a fan of all this royal nonsense. Right now, I'm just your servant." Liam, confused, responds, "What? That's not necessary. You don't have to serve me." The princess explains, "The blood of dragons flows through my mother's family. That's why women of my lineage often marry into royal families. As a woman with dragon blood in my veins, I see it as my duty to serve the great dragon Radin. Since that dragon resides within you now, it's only fitting that I serve you." At that moment, Radon, the dragon spirit inside Liam, speaks to him, instructing him to walk about 1 kilometer north. "You'll find something there that you'll really enjoy," Radon says. Liam relays the message to the princess, who agrees to follow him. They eventually arrive at a locked door leading to an underground chamber. Inside, they discover a black dragon. Liam's task is to defeat it, but through a puzzle. A name is written on the dragon's forehead, and Liam must remove one letter to change the meaning of the word into submit. The princess, quick-witted as ever, suggests removing the second letter from the right. Acting swiftly, Liam uses his power to erase the letter. The dragon instantly submits, acting as tame as a well-trained dog. The princess remarks, "It must recognize the dragon blood in my veins." She steps forward to tend to the dragon's wounds while Liam contemplates his next move. Just as Liam begins to relax, he hears a massive explosion. Rushing back like a rocket, he finds the village in ruins. 2 villagers cry out for help, explaining that werewolves attacked them. Before Liam can respond, the werewolf leader emerges, snarling, "Get off this sacred land immediately or we'll tear you to shreds." Liam attempts to negotiate, but the werewolf refuses to listen and attacks with full force. Liam defends himself, unleashing his lightning powers to stun the werewolf. "I told you to listen." "I don't want to hurt you," Liam says, summoning the small dragon spirit Radon. With Radon's help, Liam finally manages to open a dialogue with the werewolf leader. He explains that his only goal is to protect the village and make it a safe haven. Eventually, the werewolf agrees to form a pact with Liam. Liam names the werewolf leader Chris, but to his shock, Chris transforms into a girl. "Wait, you're a girl? I thought you were a guy?" He blurts out. Shaking off his surprise, Liam reassures Chris, "Well, it doesn't matter. What's important is that you and your people are safe here now." With Chris and the newly allied werewolves joining the village, the rebuilding process accelerates. One day, Chris rushes up to Liam, hugging him tightly. She confesses, "I love you, and I'm so sorry for the damage we caused. I'll work extra hard to fix everything." Liam, determined to help as well, wishes he could repair the damage with his powers. Radon advises him, "You can do it through visualization. Picture the entire repair process clearly from start to finish." Liam tries it out using his newfound ability to restore a broken structure. Chris tests it by trying to damage it again, but it instantly returns to its repaired state. Thrilled with this new power, Liam steps outside to test it further. He fires off a magical projectile, which explodes with immense force, rivaling a modern missile. Amazed by the display, Radon praises him, "You're a genius, Liam. Your abilities just keep evolving." And so, the journey of building their empire continues, with Liam growing stronger and the group united by newfound bonds and alliances. At that moment, a group of fairies rushes to Liam, shouting, "Emergency! Emergency! Humans have invaded our land, chasing some of the fairies and causing massive destruction." Liam is shocked and immediately teleports to the scene. He sprints until he reaches the intruders and stands firmly in front of them. As he faces the humans, he recalls the promise he made to the fairies that he would become their leader and protector. He also remembers the princess pleading with him, saying, "Establish a new nation here." Turning to the soldiers, Liam declares, "This land is my nation now. Leave immediately." The soldiers laugh mockingly, retorting in Asian, "Oh please, kid, you're just a delusional little boy." Undeterred, Liam fires 17 destructive cruise missiles, deliberately missing them but making his point clear. "That was your first and only warning," he says coldly. "This is my land, and if you think of invading it, I'll eliminate you without hesitation." One of the soldiers steps forward defiantly, sneering, "Get out of our way, you fool." Liam, unfazed, uses his powers to fling them away one by one. With a thunderous roar, he warns, "Don't ever come back here again." Afterward, Liam teleports back to the fairies, assuring them that they're safe. To his surprise, a massive number of fairies approach him, eager to form a pact. Shocked by their numbers, he begins contracting with them, starting at 2 p.m. and finishing around 5 p.m., by which point he's sealed agreements with over 100 fairies. The population of the land grows exponentially as a result. The scene shifts to Liam sitting with the group. He tosses a helmet onto the table. The others examine it and exclaim, "Wait, isn't this the emblem of the Balta Duchy?" The princess explains, "Balta is a state near this promised land. This means the humans who attacked last night were likely border guards. It's also possible that guards from Gemel and Questador, neighboring states, will show up soon. There used to be a valley separating the 3 states, but now it's connected due to the reclamation of the promised land." Liam, deep in thought, says, "If that's the case, everyone's going to fight over this land, but I can't let this turn into a bloodbath. I need to find a peaceful solution." The princess, however, insists, "You must establish a nation here, Liam. A nation needs 3 things: land, people, and authority. We have the land. The people will come as your reputation spreads. That leaves authority, and for that, you'll need an army to protect the state." Chris steps forward and says confidently, "Leave the army to us werewolves. We're fast, skilled, and perfect for combat." Liam agrees, trusting her capabilities. In the meantime, Chris adds, "We'll continue building the village while demonstrating our strength. We'll repel any invaders, and soon people will realize that allying with us is in their best interest." But the next day, the situation escalates faster than anyone expected. A blonde-haired man named Leonardo appears, and the princess instantly recognizes him. That's Marquis Leonardo, a high-ranking noble from the kingdom of Gemel. He's here under direct orders from the king. Leonardo addresses them politely. "We have no intention of fighting you. In fact, we wish to propose an alliance. As a token of goodwill, we're offering the hand of Princess Scarlet in marriage." Liam is taken aback, wondering why they're so interested in him. He reflects on Scarlet's recent behavior, suspecting that the great dragon Radon might be influencing events. Liam then asks Leonardo directly, "Have you met Princess Scarlet before?" Leonardo tells Liam that he has seen her several times, which surprises Liam because he's lying, as Princess Scarlet standing next to him. Liam thinks about it because he wants to talk to the princess but doesn't want them to hear. So he communicates with her telepathically, saying, "Princess, keep calm and listen to me carefully. I will speak to you directly through telepathy, so do not say a word. Think it and I will understand." Then he proposes to her, asking for her hand in marriage. The princess accepts without hesitation, and Liam agrees to the deal, stating that it will be a great honor to marry her, but requests 1 year to show her the magnificent place he built. The envoy agrees and leaves to inform the king. We then see everyone working hard. Afterward, Liam's twin, or the other version of him, appears, and they leave together using teleportation to visit Scarlet's palace in the royal capital. Liam asks Scarlet for his twin's approval to come here. Later, his twin brings him. Then, Scarlet speaks to him, explaining that as a ruler, he must avoid being seen by anyone, and suggests having some tea together. The dragon then speaks to him, showing him a statue connected to the dragon Braddon. The queen's family on his mother's side has had this statue for many generations. Liam feels Braddon's power within it. He uses a spell on it, causing the statue to enter Scarlet, and she tries its power, astonished because it drained all her energy. This is due to the shield he gave her. Scarlet manages to use the same spell, and Liam wants to create a stronger shield. The dragon advises him to gather some fine mithril. The princess says she'll prepare it for him immediately and does so. Liam uses his spells and it's finally completed. The princess is happy with the beautiful result. Liam asks her to make a contract with him by spilling some of her blood on it, allowing the statue to enter her body. Now she feels an overwhelming power. They make the contract and she becomes stronger and lighter. Afterward, Liam and the princess go to the Black Dragon to try and make a contract with him. Liam now has a special appearance and much greater strength. He uses his power, but in the end, he exhausts all of it. And that's where today's episode ends. Stay tuned for the next episode. But before anything else, make sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell to receive all the latest updates.